Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. The internet and its derivatives, particularly social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and WhatsApp have revolutionized communication. The role of the traditional forms of communication, physical transmission, newspaper, radio, television, and telephony have been upset. And the British author, that's writer and philanthropist, Joan Rowling says, the internet has become a boom and a curse for teenagers. We think that limiting the curse to teenagers is giving some adults the respect they don't deserve. Because even if we are not all infected, we are affected by the misdeeds of the internet. So today on Press Hour, we are going to resound the warning trumpet on the misuse of social media. Just by sharing information on social media, you can become a cyber criminal. Therefore, watch out for misuse of social media. I am Kilian Dandifon in Yaoundé, and this is Press Hour. Misuse of social media. Watch out. That is the alarm bell that we are resounding today on Press Hour. And to talk about this phenomenon, I want to call it, because there's a lot of misuse of social media. I have specialists, I have experts in the domain who are going to look at the usefulness, look at the dangers, and give you advice on what to and what not to do, because you could just by posting something and you claim to be innocent end up like a criminal. I have with me Lucas Tenning Chefo, who is the publisher of the Reporter newspaper. Lucas, you're welcome to the set today.
Thank you, Kilian. Good afternoon, our viewers. Good afternoon to my fellow panelists, and good afternoon to the viewers who are using social media to get to us. Hope that they will use the social media
the right way
and not misuse it. So by the end of the day, I think we would have, our discussion would elucidate the use of social media and the misuse of social media that can help most of the teenagers who are cyber criminals to desist from what is becoming a scourge in our society.
Thank you very much, Lucas. And I have with me here for the first time in the studio Dr. Lambert Ayuk Takem, who is he's a scientist, he is an ICT specialist. Welcome to Press Hour.
Thank you, Kilian. For all our viewers, we hope that at the end of this discussion, we would be able to, shed some light and help, the old folks, the young folks, better use social media. As earlier said, there is good and bad in social media. Let's try to focus on the good.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Just to say that you are a Cameroonian based in the United States of America, and we are pleased to have some of you in the diaspora who love your country. You find time to come and share with family at home. Once again, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, permit me, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you Ivor Babila Nyamdi, who is digital forensic investigation expert. He knows exactly what to do. If you think that you can post any kind of thing and get away with it, he can get you out of the hole where you want to hide. Ivor, thank you for coming once again.
Well, thank you, Kilian, for this invitation. Thanks for this invitation again. As I say, I hope at the end of the day, we will have Club Cameroonians clear on what to do and what not to do.
That's why we've brought you to Press Hour. Meet Professor Victor Mbarika, who is ICT expert. He's the president of the Board of Trustees of the ICT University. Prof, once again, we renew our pleasure to have you on our set.
Kilian, thank you. Thank you, CRTV. I have some of my best friends here and at CRTV, and it's a great topic on misuse of the internet, which, by the way, the misuse pays money, and the good use also pays money. So let's not forget that. But I'm most pleased to give a shout out to my lovely family that is here in the studio to accompany me today. This is the first time they're in studio with me anywhere in the world.
Thank you very much, and to your family, we extend our condolences for the great loss of your dad, and that's part of why you are in the country today with family.
Yes.
Once again, you are one of our regular guests here. Our condolences once again.
Thank you.
And at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at what the newspapers fed on the week that just passed. And Emanuela Vemnui is the lady on that beat. She read the newspapers for you and for us. Emanuela.
Politics got the better of newspapers the week ending. SDF strategizes for 2025 at NEC meeting in The Voice, then proposes constitutional conference in Cameroon Insider with plans to unveil new political program in The Post. As the party advocates constitutional conference, OC is set to pick up SDF tickets for 2025 presidential election in The Sun before proposing revision of constitution while clarifying on notion of federalism in The Advocate. But the Guardian Post thinks that OC Joshua should redeem SDF and join coalition for 2025 race. 7 separatist fighters then drop arms in Momo division in Cameroon Tribune and integrates the DDR Center in Cameroon Insider just when dreaded Amba warlord General Black Rapon and 2 fighters are reportedly killed in the Guardian Post. At the time, the paper reports that the number of kidnappings doubled in Northwest and Southwest in 2023. 3 separatist fighters are neutralized in Konyi in Cameroon Insider, and so Honorable Senator Henry can now return home after 7 years in the Eagle's Eye. The fight against HIV and AIDS goes to schools as Chantobia Social Vaccine Program and ICT University sign MOU in the horizon. The Guardian Post reports that agreement is to combat spread of HIV in schools as sensitization will now get closer to learners in municipal updates. At a time, 60% of women diagnosed with breast cancer die in Cameroon in the median. Soba America then offers scholarships to SASE students and teachers in the Post. Elites of Santa, grouped under the mighty Santa Caucus, rewards academic excellence in The Voice. The Herald Tribune quotes Dr. Chia Safo, president of the caucus, as saying that the annual gesture is to nurture dreams of Santa children. Before the GCE board announces registration for 2025 examinations for October 21 in municipal updates. The Islamic Development Bank then pumps in 80.505 billion CFA francs into the Cameroon-Chad electricity interconnection project in the Post newspaper, just when the government seeks 179 billion CFA francs to reconstruct the Douala-Bafoussam road in Cameroon Insider. IMF hails government's growth strides and public finance management reforms in the Guardian Post. The bridge linking Cameroon and Chad through Bongo is presented as the Bridge of Alliance in Cameroon Tribune. As Cameroonians continue celebrating the qualification of the Indomitable Lions for the 2025 AFCON in Morocco in Cameroon Tribune, Newswatch presents Predators' great return to MMA. Cameroon Insider reports that Francis Ngannou re-enters the octagon. To the Post, Ngannou faces Ferreira in a clash of titans, but the median wants to know where Idabato Dio is. Municipal Updates reports that Nigeria has joined efforts to rescue kidnapped Idabato Dio, just when the nation holds breath, according to Municipal Updates, as Bia's return imminent. Until I come your way again, this is your Hour with the Press, and those were the papers for you.
Thank you immensely, Emanuela Vemnui. We look forward to having you next week with another dose of what the papers would have fed on between now and next Sunday. Now, we're going to go deep into what we're focusing on today, misuse of social media. Watch out. That is exactly what we're discussing today on Press Hour. In our introduction, what caught my attention before we go into some other things is what Professor Mbaraka talked about, that those who even misuse make money out of it. So we are talking about the good side. What is the usefulness? What are those things, advantages of social media for us today?
Absolutely.
Yes, beginning with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I have supervised a PhD thesis, Killian, titled "The Unintended Use of ICTs in Developing Countries." And cybercrime is one of the big things. The problem is when we are talking about fighting it, we forget that the perpetrators, the bad users of the cyberspace are making tons of money. It's good business, right? I'm speaking as a businessman. It's good business. So to combat it, we must find alternatives on what else these young people can do. And by the way, they are not old guys. These are 14, 15, and 16-year-old boys doing some of these things. Let's not forget this. There are young people doing it, and it has really caused a lot of damage. I want to start with the issue of phishing, for example. Phishing, not catching fish, but phishing through sending fake emails to people. Today, someone can send an email looking like it's from Killian Ndifon at ctrv.cm. Well, someone that knows Killian Ndifon would not, the human eye may not quickly catch that it's CTRV and not CRTV.cm, and makes commitments, gets data from you, or fools you into falling into a trap. You give them a lot of money, and it goes.
That is very rampant this time.
It's
on
very,
daily
very
basis,
rampant.
they are doing that.
Very, very rampant. In fact, my daughter Ruth, she's very much into technologies, and sometimes she shows us some of these fake things that come up left and right, and it is very rampant, especially among young people. And people can make a lot of money. It's a multi-million-dollar thing. Just in phishing, we have 300,497 victims in 2022, which cost about $52 million in losses. Just in this example I just gave you like this.
That is too bad. Although they are making money out of it, it is something that they are actually extorting. That is phishing, which is negative, but they make money out of it.
And they cannot just depend on working on as an IT specialist in a company making $300,000 a month instead of making $6 million a month in just phishing.
We are hoping that the Ministry of Telecommunications, in association with the agency ANTIC that is tracking cyber crimes in Cameroon, come up with proposal that will be put in law, that it's current, that can track and get some of these people who are extorting money and other items from Cameroonians and other citizens of the world. We are going to talk about that with Ivo, who knows exactly what that happens, but the usefulness, that's where we are, of social media. We are with you, Lucas Teneng Chefo.
Yeah, you see, with the advent of the internet, the world has been revolutionized in communication, because the internet has actually brought communication.
A new order.
New order in the world. So like the COVID that brought a new order and shifted the old order to a new order. We are doing things differently. But at least the internet has, and social media has some advantages. Now, to education-wise, you can easily get information, updated information on social media through the internet. It has equally brought money to businesses. I think more often than not, I have not seen Professor Mbaraka for quite a long time, but I get to him every now and then on the internet. I get about the ICT on internet, and it ups his business digitalization on the platform. Those are advantages of internet. Now, more often than not, you see, usually you used to go to class to copy notes, and the teacher talks, and you have to copy notes. I've seen teachers sending their notes to students through the internet. Although it has its advantages, because it has its advantages. It could have a disadvantage because I've realized this is a personal experience I'm talking about. I've realized I've tried to monitor some students. They are in a group, a WhatsApp group. The teacher sends the notes to the WhatsApp group. But what happens if the teacher is a sex predator? Because he has the information about all the students, he can get to the students. And when he gets to the students, personally, you don't know what he discusses with the students.
So that's where we just have to let the students watch out, they listen to the advice we're going to give them.
Is for us to
give
the advice on how to use the social media, because the social media has come to stay. It's not like we are saying that it has to disappear today. And since it is a new information highway, our legislators are yet
to catch up.
They are yet to have laws that can actually protect people from it. And the social media, or say the internet, is what we call a democratic world. It's like, to me, I even call it, I call the internet a jungle, where any person jumps in, does everything he does, and goes out.
And there you are right. Now, let's look at it from your perspective as a publisher, as a newsman, a pressman. So how is internet and particularly social media helping you?
Yeah, social media helps me in the fact that now, more often than we used to sell the hard copies of our paper, and our audience was mostly the Northwest and Southwest. Although they have moved here, people have prioritized other things than newspapers. So how do you cope in this new market? The new market now is the social media. So how do you do? We now publish our papers and send soft copies online before printing the hard copies. So it helps us make market. The people who have subscribed to the soft copies of the paper, and you send them through social media. So it makes, at least for us to break even at times. But the fallback is what? I have seen newspapers that have been sent online, and the newspapers have been hacked, and different information posted on that newspaper and sent online. And that puts you in a very tight corner, because the information they put on your newspaper doesn't resemble you. It's not truthful. And the government, if they don't have the right means of tracking down or knowing that that is fake news,
then you are in for it.
They'll get to you. And this is even the worst part of it. More often than not, when the fake news goes out, those who have seen it might not be those who, when you say that it is fake.
Okay.
So it is already goes and it spreads, and you are in a tight corner, as I say. And I'm saying so because some of us have been questioned by the security because of the content of our newspapers that we don't even recognize. But you don't take your newspaper, take a soft copy of your newspaper, they remove certain things on the front page. It's just the front page that circulate, and then paste information that does not look like you.
Thank you very much. When we're talking about the use of the internet or social media, if you want to talk about that in schools, I'm thinking of officializing it in the educational system in Cameroon. It is official. We have distance learning in the various ministries, from basic through secondary to higher education. Internet is systematically used to do that, and especially in secondary education, where we have our own Professor Nalova Lyonga. She has made it, there is a center in Yaoundé that gets to all the schools that you can imagine. That is called Distance Learning Center. It has everything that you can imagine. At one point, Press R went and produced from there. We had the opportunity to see exactly that it is working, and it came up during COVID period where physical contact was a barrier. Now it is no more. Now, Dr. Lambert Ayuk Takem, you are a scientist, you are IT specialist. How useful is this before we go to the dangers that we have it?
Thank you, Killian. Well, first and foremost, the internet is here to stay. It has revolutionized how we communicate. In the past, we used to have IT, and now we have information and communication technology. So there's plenty of good in the internet. Now, if you look for us that are coming from the States, some states are trying to ban TikTok, for example, because there is this addiction, to social media. We have to have some kind of way in which we limit, exposure with regards to our kids and to social media. We cannot just let them just use it at their disposal how long they want to, because we also have predators that are preying on our kids. We cannot watch or be there when they're using these communication devices, computers, cell phones. So we have to watch out for these things, and there should be some kind of legislation that prohibits this.
We actually have that in Cameroon. We invited someone who was coming to take us into the penal code and some other specific regulation that we have in our country, although the officials are trying to perfect that. The person, we've not had the opportunity to have the person here with us, but we can go ahead. Dr. Lambert Ayub Takem is talking about preventing, looking for ways of limiting these dangers to our children. We had here Professor Victor Mbareka talked about phishing. Which other forms of misuse of social media do we have?
Good, Killian. It's important to know that this issue of misuse is global. Nearly all the governments in the world are working towards a strategy to control this social media. Today, the social media is not owned by a particular country. It's owned by some individuals in the United States, and they're refusing all responsibilities on what is being done on this social media. So the first thing is, if you decide to say, okay, I'm training myself, you can go online, you train yourself on something that is not done in your country. So if your country starts pushing you forward or chasing you, you need to have somebody that has that same expertise or even better than you to be capable to hold you down. So as he was saying, Dr. Lambert was saying, it's a little bit dangerous on our children, but also on parents, everybody, even you, Killian.
Yes, all of us.
Yes. So the strategy is simple. The Cameroon government as well should think deeply. If you train without using ITians, they will become criminals. You know the saying that says that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. We have a lot of certified ITians coming out from many of these IT universities that we have, like the ICT University. If they are not absorbed and used properly, they will change their mindset and become this criminal.
They will use good knowledge
to
do bad things.
So another thing I wanted to add, Killian, just a minute before we go. When you share information online, you don't know if it is the correct one or the wrong one. I'll give you a simple example. We have about 7 billion people on Earth, and out of these 7 billion, we have about 2 billion that are connected on social media. So a young man that has 500,000 or 5 million followers will do a share. I share a fake information. If I share this information, the next thing that has to do is somebody needs to counteract. How do they counteract? What is the mechanism put in place by government to counteract? Are you going to write a note and say, no, what that person said is wrong? How fast, how sure are you that your own information is going to take that long and meet more than the people that he has to contact immediately? So this is what I'm saying, that we need to think deeply, bring out an internal strategy, not just sort the problems as if we are doing firefighting. If you do the firefighting tactics, the problem maker will always be above you.
The number may even be more than what you're talking about, because I just got into the internet, and then, we talk about the advantages, and then they're telling me that world population is 8 million, just a few hundreds of people to be 8 billion people. Yeah, 7 billion is even something of about 5 years ago. Yes, thank you very much. You're talking about the dangers. Let us see what danger someone gets into when you either post or share confidential documentation.
It's forbidden by law to propagate false information, to share confidential documents. The first thing you need to know is that if I carry a document that is not mine and share, and without measuring the impact of those that are going to receive this document, any repercussion that takes place because of my share, I am responsible for it.
Now, this question goes to all of you. Some of the confidential documents that we see on social media appear to come even from the authors, from the main offices, from the original offices where they are. So how do we justify this type of behavior?
Killian, this is what I was talking of, deep social treatment. Because for me to pick a document in my office and post on social media is a problem. Let me give you one example out of one of our investigation cases that we had. We realized after tracking a particular official document that it was shared from the phone of the son or daughter of one of our officials.
Okay.
On Facebook, without knowing this repercussion, without knowing what is going to happen. You will just say, maybe let me just show my friend that I am the first to know that this is what is going to happen. The child doesn't know. Schools, they don't know. He will take it to school and go and show his friend, this is it. The next minute, it is in the hands of the father of the friend, who takes it over and over and over, and the chain goes on and on.
Now, that is a good example you have given. But my question is even beyond that. In my office, I have a document, and I think that happens. I don't know why it happens. I want the widest broadcast or sharing of that document. It is confidential. I myself, I make sure that many people read, especially when it is against an opponent. So how do you, it's confidential. How do you explain as an investigation?
I would rather explain to you how to avoid that or how to track that. But you cannot explain the mindset of the person that is sharing.
Okay.
You can track it. There is what they call a CAM security document. That makes that if you have a document in your office and you snap it, it's going to have the information of your phone.
Okay.
And the position where you shared. If you share to the first person, when we track it, we can pick you up.
Okay.
At what time you were in the office, which document you had in your hand, what were you doing, and we can definitely pick you up. So now, your mindset, what makes you to share this document can be political, can be business, can be money, as Prof was saying. Somebody might have proposed you a bag of billions, and you say, okay, let me just share with him and have my money. Knowing that it's not good, and you share. At times you might not know, but again, as I say, if you do that, a cyber forensic expert is capable of tracking you down.
So I want you to repeat this. Ivo, that no document posted on social media of any form, if you want to get to the origin, to the first person who posted it, you will get it with no problem.
I repeat, with no worries, with no blink, Killian. There is no share, no communication on social media or on any other internet communication media which cannot be tracked. If anybody does that, you will be tracked.
Thank you for that. I am going to get to you. If anyone shares anything against me, I just get to you.
Feel free,
and by extension, I think that if you don't give your number, I'm used to you. Anyone who feels defamed or...
Yes, I told you last time we are connected with the international certified international forensic experts.
Yes.
So we are opening an academy to train forensic experts in Douala. So as you said, they can get to you. We also open cases because, as you know, we are kind of legal assistants. When they have cases that have to do with digital investigations, they come to us.
Thank you very much. He has raised a point here, and it's making some of us who do not know that this is how it happens to feel a bit comforted that if it happened to us, we know where to go to. Yes, Lucas, I see you eager to...
Yeah, I'm confident that at least if it happens, I know where to go to. But my problem remains the issue of closing the door when all the horses are out. If there were a preventive measure that we could prevent, and that goes to what I call education. We should educate people to know that when you do stalking, because Professor Mubaraka is here, sitting here. I know he's a vibrant businessman. I take his private information and share to his opponents because I want to bring him down. We have to advise people, we have to educate people to know that stalking is not good. As we're talking, I know what happens in most of the ministries. I don't say I'm in most of the ministries, but I know what happens there. You have a confidential information and somebody knows that this information, when I share it, your opponents will pick it, they multiply the share, and it works against you. They do it. If we could, because the time that you realize that this information is false, and you have to flag it down for it to be taken down, that time lapse must have caused the damage. What we'll be doing will be damage control mechanisms, which more often than not are not even proper damage control mechanisms. You've destroyed somebody's life. Politicians do it. Politicians even come to journalists with personal information about people. If you don't have the integrity to say no, but this is not done, go to the political field and try to convince people, you will publish that information about somebody, and at the end of the day, you are in court with him, but you've destroyed their life.
So what you're also saying is that, whatever the case, our legal system should work 100%. It should function full-time in such a way that any such thing that happened should be taken care of.
I'm sitting here, I'm a victim. My Facebook account has been hacked twice, and they've asked money from so many of my friends because I have, since I was popular on social media, I had followers. So most guys, they hack the Facebook accounts of people who have so many followers to do nasty things. My Facebook account has been hacked twice. I tried to retrieve it, and Facebook even tried to ban me, thinking that I was inside the hacker. You understand? If you see, he raised a very pertinent point here. If you see, most of those who are doing hacking are those who went into ICT. The earlier guys that went into ICTs, they came out, they had no jobs. So what do? They use it in another way to make money, as Professor was saying. So if you train ICT technicians and we don't deploy them where they can make gainful, they can make money and live decent lives, and we don't, first of all, because I was trying to say that I'm going to propose to Professor Mbaraka now that he should include moral education in the training of ICT technicians, so that they should leave the school with a different morale. They should not think that because I am an expert. I'm an expert in ICT. I can.
Some of them don't go to his school. They just do science and then they get to manipulate the stuff.
I'm saying that at least they should. The training should be holistic. The training that they give them should be holistic. So that when you're living in school, you see, most of our children are into to certain things because of peer pressure. You might come from a holy family or a religious family. You meet somebody who comes from a family that does not even know whether God exists, and then you put in school, and that peer pressure, and then you end up doing things like that. But if you have a sound moral background, I think there's certain things that you stand your ground.
But before you say something, Prof, let me ask Lucas. See the way I was looking at you with a lot of surprise when you are preaching. I call it preaching. What morals will you have when, well, I apologize to people who don't have enough and they uphold moral principles. But generally, what morals will you have if you are on an empty stomach, talk less of empty pocket? Do you think that that is possible?
Killian, I will repeat what Bob Marley once said. Bob Marley said some people are so poor until what remains is money. Money doesn't make you rich. There are people who are rich with money, but they are poor because they don't have any integrity. So the best thing about integrity, there are people who have seen they have slept with an empty stomach because they cannot go and beg. They cannot stand themselves. So I might not be an example, but I'm saying there are people who have integrity, and we should teach our children to have integrity.
Okay.
It's not because your child is going to a school. My daughter is going to an international school, but she's going to an international school with other children who don't have the means that I have. So because they see my child in an international school putting on this type of dress or coming to school with this, it shouldn't make them, if they have moral values from their home, it won't shaken them.
Thank you. I know we still have a good number of them. I apologize on the behalf of those people who still have integrity. But generally, I'm saying that poverty or lack generally can push people to places they would not have gone to if they were in the normal situation. Yes, you wanted to say something about that before I ask him that follow-up question.
Kian, I have bad news in that, you see, I totally agree. We can track you where you are, where the information comes from. But unfortunately, no government in the world, bring your law person you talked about here, they can throw all the laws you want. With hacking, with cyber crimes, I could want to mess you up, Killian. I would not do it necessarily from my phone while in Cameroon. I could take that information and send it to a friend of mine in Indonesia. I say, mess Killian up for me online. Bring up this story about. Now, that person from Indonesia publishes it. We can track where it comes from in Indonesia, but you may never know it came from me to that person in Indonesia.
Well, Interpol will take the person in Indonesia.
It's not
and he will work. He will go in for what you did.
No, but it's not that easy because the guy in Indonesia can decide to go to a quartier, a wasted cyber cafe that do not have cameras and so on, to do what they want to do there. Post it there. I'm telling you, my point I'm coming to, let's be very careful. It comes to what my dear brother is saying. We should still come back to the traditions of some ethics in us in order to prevent these things, whether we like it or not. Because no government law, the government law will go to a certain extent, but like the regular practice here, you know the gendarmes, you know the people at set, somebody commits a crime in briqueterie. You take the gendarmes, go and arrest them and put them somewhere in the cell. Well, in this case, the perpetrator may send that information to someone in a totally different country using a totally different server. What he keeps talking about tracking, we use what we call IP addresses. Every time you send anything on the internet, it has an IP address. It's a unique address. I can say this is where it came from. But hackers are not dull people, by the way. These people perpetrating these things are extremely smart kids that they know how to hide themselves too. So it's not all that can be arrested. The sources can be identified, but it's not all the time the individuals can. Honestly, I'm not proud of it, but when I was in university, I was one of those hackers. But I did it for fun. I did it for fun. I hacked into the MIT system. They threatened the University of Illinois with a lawsuit. I'm a young student. I don't care. I hacked into my professor's system and got questions for exams at University of Illinois, Chicago. Today, I smile with him. It was a course on networking. So I smiled with him and I said, if I can hack into you, the professor's system, and get your exam questions, by the way, I went and was honest with him that I hacked and got your test questions, then you should give me an A, because I've succeeded to hack into the guru's
No, you
system.
should be punished.
No, but you know what? I wasn't punished by, because I reported myself.
Okay.
It was my younger days. Now I'm a good boy. I know I have a lot more to lose now. But to conclude, anyone with any kind of public image stands the risk of being defamed. That one, I mean, some of us, stories have come out about us and so on, but you cannot avoid that. People will create things. The issue comes back to training with the right morals. We should still have some level of decency to respect people's privacies and so on. And this great mistake some governments are making, preventing kids to have phones in schools, is one of the worst government mistakes I've seen anywhere in the world.
Let's look at the context.
Let them be exposed.
Let us look at the context.
Yes.
The context, our context in Cameroon, let me not say Africa, warrants that we should prevent our kids from having phones, because those who have had phones have got derailed. They have done just what we were talking about here, and they can't go further with their education.
What happened to parental training? They should train them what is right and wrong, because preventing them from using the technology in school that will help them, they are already in the IT world. We cannot get away from it.
Okay.
We cannot completely prevent them.
He has something. Before you say it,
Yes.
last month, about this time, it's about 30 days, in Cameroon, all the police chiefs in Central Africa and from other parts of Africa and the ministers in charge of security in Central Africa met in Cameroon for 1 week during a conference.
I'm aware of that.
Yes. During that conference, they were working, trying to connect not only with Central Africa, East Africa is already there, Central Africa is there, Southeast Africa is already cooperating with them. They are sending a hand which is already been accepted by West Africa to connect the police, the security, investigative efforts, and make sure that you will not commit a crime in Cameroon and escape and you are in Liberia. You will not be in Indonesia, to talk about your example. They will connect with ICPO, Interpol, and track you down. So I think I agree with you that ethics should be inculcated into the children. But the law first, because the law is what even gets the smartest person who would like to use their knowledge in an evil way to be redressed. Yes, you had something to say concerning
you
that.
see, when Prof was talking, I just thought of one thing. It's just like getting a new car without knowing how to use it.
Yes.
You see, that's exactly how the internet is pumping into Africa.
Okay.
We need to be ready. We have not finished with the internet. The social media came in. In 2000, we had the Facebook that has evolved. We have not finished with it.
The AI is
the
now.
AI is now.
Yes.
We have not finished with it. We have virtual reality. So, how ready are we? How ready are we? This readiness, you cannot ask a parent to prepare his child to meet up all these things. Yes. Some of them don't even know IT. How ready are we? Is the government putting in place the necessary atmosphere to receive this technology?
What is the atmosphere? What should the government?
Good. One thing, these schools where you do this training, ICT training, in all schools today, you have a program or a subject, ICT. Prof is advising, because indirectly he's advising for government to allow phones in schools. Now, the measures in place before the child starts using this phone, the protocol, the security protocol there, stopping the child from getting harmful content should be put in place. Right? How is he safe? What is the digital safety plan put in place for this child to use this phone? If you just say they should have the phone freely, it's going to cause maybe more harm than good. So my idea is, Prof, as you were in the university, there is supposed to be a program for preparation in reception of IT intelligence.
We have prerequisites.
Yes,
in this.
all these prerequisites, it should be in
To
all
prepare,
schools.
yes.
All schools.
But
Even
my point is, don't prevent it. Let the kids go crazy with it and learn. There's security measures that are even on the phones to prevent certain things. When you talk of a police training that went on for Central Africa, I'm sorry, Killian. What are the ages of the people that went there? Highly likely they were officers.
No,
Do you know who you should send there?
We had experts.
You need to. No,
Killian,
you need to send people in their 20s.
again, you are sending experts. Those that are
young
suffering are not
people,
experts.
young police officers in their 20s. Don't send police officers that are in their 40s and 50s and about to retire. Those are the people, the new generation of police officers.
It was at the policy level. You know, when they sit policy, strategy, now those who are going to apply are the young people you're talking about. So I still think that they did a good job. Now, Dr. Lambert, your contribution on this allowing children to use. You know, we are in Africa, you are in the United States. It's not the same context.
It's absolutely not the same, you know, because we have predators. These kids, first of all, the phones that, you know, Prof is saying, we cannot use these phones for all what they are capable of, you know, delivering in terms of, you know, content. And these kids are not, the brains are still developing. You know, if we want to allow it in school, then at what age do we do that? You know, so we have to have some kind of age limit, and it's a distraction. I personally, you know, speak from experience. I can sit right here, I'm talking to my daughter, and she's zoned out. She's zoned out. I said, what did I say? She has no clue what I said.
Because
so it's Because of the phone.
Yes.
Because of the phone. So just imagine taking that to school, of course, it's good because they can reach their parents in case of an emergency, but it is a distraction. So there is the good and bad in allowing that. But for educational purposes, most schools already use, laptops, tablets for educational purposes. We have to train them. It is that age that you can't do anything without being able to, use a computer. Everything is computerized. So we have to start training them at an early age, but also be mindful that it could be dangerous too.
So the middle way is, as Prof. Baraka is saying, kids should be allowed to take their phones to school, but there should be a period within which they have to use those phones.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got the point now, yes.
Killian, there's what we call cultural push.
Yeah.
There's a cultural push. Like we're saying, we have to embrace ICTs. We have to embrace information and communication technologies. It has come to stay.
It's going nowhere.
We should not be talking as if it is something that is passing and it has come to stay. He's talked about being prepared. Do you know that if you take your child, you have 2 children, you send one to government secondary school and you send one to a mission school. When they come back, they behave the same. You took one to a purely mission school, took one to a government school where there's some rascality. When they come back, there's only one divergence. The divergence that will be between them with that the other one has some morals.
Which one has morals?
The one from the mission school has some morals. Why the one from the government secondary school might yes, it's different. And this is what I'm coming to. This is what I'm coming to. That it is a cultural push. They wear the same dresses. How did the one who was in the mission school and was only put on a uniform knew that this is the type of dress that is en vogue? So the issue is prepare them than to stop them. Yeah. When you stop them, they will still get to it.
They'll revolt.
It is the same. Yeah. I realize that if you take your phone, you are an adult, you have even done ICT, take your phone and give your son of, say, 7 years, 8 years. The future that are in your phone, he knows them more than you, who has bought the phone.
Sadly.
So why not allow them, say, okay, from the age of this to this is what we can give them phones that are not Android. They can call if you go to school and there's any emergency. From this time to this time, they should use these phones because that will prepare them. Because either they are left behind. Very soon we will come like this and stand and up and speak and our doors will open. That will be ICTs now. So if they are not used to it, how would they cope? So the issue is our government. I think our government should put in a policy.
Exactly.
When you go to pay the parent, teacher, school,
PTA now,
you always see a slot there, computer classes, ICTs. I don't think that slot there is it should not be for dressing. It should not be just that you want to take money from you. It should be actually something that they should have a computer lab in secondary schools that children should start knowing how to operate. Imagine your daughter leaves high school at the age of 17, 18 and finds himself in the US and is unable to even operate tablet. It becomes a problem.
Okay,
so
you got an upper hand on the fact that we should allow our kids use these gadgets, the IT gadgets, but they should be controlled. The level at which they get exposure should also be controlled. Now we are going to a new phase.
Before you end, he said something about talking with the daughter, and the daughter is off. I wrote an article, how sociable is social media? Because that article was prompted by the fact that I went to a snack bar and saw people came with their families. They ordered for food. They brought the food. None of them was aware that the food was standing in front of them.
Each person had a...
Yeah, they were on their phones. Then somebody would just pick like this and throw in the mouth and continue. So people have gone out to socialize and they end up not socializing.
Okay.
So, because children sit here, as they're sitting there, instead of talking to each other, they're texting. So they don't develop the social skills of communicating, of interacting with people. So
I hear that even in the same house, some people communicate using the phone. Social media. Thank you.
How sociable is social media?
Yes.
Because it takes people near us far away, and those who are far away from us towards us. So how sociable is it?
Yes, we're going to take about 4 minutes. You have 4. Each person has 1 minute to give some advice to those who use social media. I'm going to start with Ivo, who is a forensic investigation expert. Now, I am told, you confirm, that once you have posted anything on, for example, WhatsApp, Facebook, it is recorded in this data center far off from where you are, and that there is nothing that you post that it is not recorded there. I'm thinking about some people who still use obscene WhatsApp or Facebook to their friends, and they think that it cannot be retrieved and used against them. Do you confirm that? And what advice do you have to give?
Okay, Kilian, I think we have said a good number of things that should already make Cameroonians to understand that there is nothing that is hidden in the internet. But now, coming back to exactly what should be done, you see, Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and all these other social medias were not created with aim to harm or to send out misinformation. So the advice here is, if you receive any information on Facebook, before sharing, do what they call a fact-checking. Check if that information you are about to share is real. If you are not sure of the source, don't share.
So practical.
Yeah, don't share. WhatsApp, if you are invited in a WhatsApp group, because at times you just sit and you see that you have been added in a WhatsApp group. You don't know who added you. At times you look, you don't see anybody there that you know. Just step out of the group. If you know nobody in the group, step out. Even if you know somebody in the group, call the person, ask the person, why are you adding me here?
And decide whether
whether you stay or not, because you can be in a bad group. Let me finish. Now, if you have an information or someone calls you and gives you an information, don't type.
Okay.
Before you type, make sure. If I call you and tell you that today is press hour on Sunday, but Kilian is not coming, though I'm invited. If you're not sure that Kilian is not coming, go.
Thank you very much. We've had all the editions of Press Hour. So if anyone ever tells you that, know that that is fake. We have had all our. Now, yes, before I get to you, Lucas, I'm going to ask Dr. Lambert this very simple question, and I know you shared with me earlier. What do you do when you discover that this is fake? Someone is to you.
Well, if someone is fake or, people post fake information, first of all, don't spread it, because we have the tendency to, want to spread information because there are dormant people in all these groups. Some people just want to say something, no matter whether it's good or true. If you're not sure of what you receive, don't forward it. You keep sending things, and, if you're part of a group, there are so many other people there. They too are part of other groups. We're all part of so many social groups. So just don't post information because you receive it, or it's funny, or it might be, derogatory stuff that, can send someone into a panic mood.
Yes.
So we don't want that.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we parents have to reduce the viewing time of our children, the time they spend on social media. That's one step. Yeah. We should equally educate them on the use of social media. That's second, because most of where you see equally, you see there are so many children today in their homes in Africa that are suffering from low self-esteem because they were bullied on the internet. But if we tell them, you see, when you're using social media, no, they're going to be predators.
Absolutely.
They're going to be cyber criminals. You see that at certain times they use stunts. Stunts like, you see one guy jumping from a truck to another one, and our young children try it. Tell them these stunts on social media are not reality.
It's fake.
We should advise them those are not realities. And we should tell our children, when you upload anything you upload on social media leaves a footprint, a digital footprint. Okay. That is what the forensic people use. They use a digital footprint. And there's there are certain things that you do at a younger age, you will not be proud of them at an elderly age.
Thank you very much. I'm going to extend once again the condolence message to Professor Victor Barika, who has an event today to celebrate the life of his father who passed on. What is it again today that you have?
Well, I thank God for the life of my father who lived over 90 years. He lived a great life, trained me a lot of good things, and we had his funeral service on Friday. Yesterday he was buried. The funeral service went well. I know there's an aside, with the exception of the mess up of some PCC Bastos pastors who just took personal family things and tried to bring to the front. But
So,
the
aside,
celebration
yes.
was wonderful. But this afternoon at Palais de Congrès, we have an amazing celebration. Happiness for him, his great life, the great things he has done. If you look at the cover page of the Guardian Post, he's been celebrated as a national hero who was one of the pioneers in the printing sector in this country, trained in London. We will celebrate him at 3 p.m. at Palais de Congrès today. And I hope all of you on this panel will come and have a good time with us. So we celebrate his life. You got to know him,
Yes.
Killian. He attended all our graduations. He will be sorely missed, but his legacy will endure forever.
Yes, we will give you that time because you are a regular on Press R. You are a friend.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Professor Victor Mbarika, thank you very much for coming. Dr. Lambert Ayuk Takem, who is an ICT specialist. We extend our gratitude to you. Ivo Babila Nyamdi, who is a digital forensic investigation expert based in Douala. If you are hacked or you have any problem, you meet him. He is going to get you out of the trouble. Thank you very much, Lucas Teneng-Chefo, publisher of the Reporter newspaper. Ladies and gentlemen, it was our pleasure to have been with you for this 1 hour. Thanks for watching Press R. If there's anything you missed out on this program today, you can always catch up on Monday at 2:30 when we have a rebroadcast of this program on CRTV Premium. And we have another rebroadcast of the program on Wednesday on CRTV News at 9 p.m. Once again, stay safe, be blessed.